It is Rob here from First Session, back with another weekly live. This week we have a great guest, Ben Miller, who's the founder of WIRTH Hats. Really awesome company based in Vancouver that helps break the stigma around mental health and create conversation. Ben is I believe, doing some filming with the company today, so he'll be joining us somewhere outside or somewhere in his car, and I think I see WIRTH Hats here, so if you can request to join, we will get started. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. Ben,
Rob,
how are you?
hello. Yeah, I am good. You were right. We were filming. I just finished not too long ago, so I'm in my car at in a random parking lot.
You look like your background looks like you're filming Jurassic Park or something.
Yeah, we're filming a PSA video for Mental Health Month for May. So on May 1st, we'll release the video, and we're actually it was like we were doing someone who's kind of like he's been kind of stranded kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's fun. I was actually had a lot of laughs, so I'm excited to share it with everyone on May 1st.
I can't wait. You guys are doing such good work. Can't wait. Let me just plug a little intro here. So everyone, this is Ben Miller. He's a co-founder of WIRTH Hats, which he started in honor of his two friends, Jakob Wirth and Philipp Altenburg. WIRTH Hats help support counseling and therapy for those who cannot afford it. Outside of WIRTH, Ben has led leadership and team development workshops in a variety of countries and companies, including Canada, the US, and Denmark. Super stoked to have you on here, Ben, and really excited to learn more about your story, more about the hat. I threw on my cap today for this one.
Notice. Good. The flyball cap.
Yeah.
People have been wanting that one, man. It's a hot commodity. It's been sold out for a bit, and we'll see. We should probably bring it back at some point because a lot of people want it.
Tell us about WIRTH. Yeah, tell us all about it.
Yeah. So you gave a good intro, but yeah, it's something that there's a longer story to it. So essentially, and I'll share a little snippet of it, and you can ask questions and ask me to elaborate if you want. But
Perfect.
in 2014, I was going to school in Denmark, and a good friend of mine, Jakob Wirth, was in the program as well, and he just shared one day his dream to have a hat company. He really wanted to start a hat company, and he was kind of in the early stages of doing it. And I'm someone I've always loved hats, and so we just kind of hit it off on talking about hats, and in our breaks from school, we chat about his hat company and what he wanted to do and create. And what I didn't know at the time was, Jakob was struggling. He was pretty depressed, and a few months later, I went back to Vancouver, where I'm from, for the summer, and he went off traveling. And that summer, he took his life. So I got the message that no one wants to receive in July that year, and in July of 2014. And when that happens, there's so many different emotions that go through you, and confused, shocked, sad. But it was like pretty soon that I just knew that I was going to help Jakob have his hat company. Like it was I wanted him to cross that off his bucket list, per se. And WIRTH Hats was only meant to be a one-off. So I made 25 WIRTH Hats, and I gave him each a hat to his closest friends and family. So his closest 25, and each hat came with a tag that, we're never as alone as we sometimes think we are, and we always need to check in. And here's to Jakob's hat company, his dream, and that was that. So that was in 2014, and I had my hat, and as a reminder, but that's where WIRTH Hats was, kind of supposed to end. It was just meant to be a one-off. And in 2017, another close friend of mine took his life, and it was about a month after that I got a message from a friend asking me if I had any more WIRTH Hats. I hadn't even thought about WIRTH Hats, up until that point. And he, I'll always remember the message. He said, he's like, I would love it. Hey man, I don't know if you have any more of those WIRTH Hats, but if you do, I'd love to have one. And if you don't and never decide to make them again, I'll be first on the list to get one.
Wow.
And it was that message that just stayed with me, like through the mourning period and the hardship and the struggle. And, you know, it was a really, really tough time, but that message just stayed with me. And it was that, and, you know, losing my two friends, but the much larger systemic issue and a need to really, you know, have a breakthrough when it comes to mental health in society and the stigma that surrounds it, et cetera. And so in 2018, I put WIRTH Hats back in the world with a promise to both my friends and to really try and break down the barriers around mental health. Neither Jakob nor Philipp went and saw a counselor. Neither of them thought, you know, both of them, you know, I remember I talked to Philipp about it because I knew he was struggling. Philipp was, and, you know, he was always hesitant to see a counselor and seek professional help. And, you know, he always did say he couldn't afford it at the time. And he was, you know, when I get a job, I'll be able to possibly do it. And so that's really what WIRTH Hats is about. We're, you know, specifically around breaking down the stigma around counseling and therapy and helping pay for those who can't afford. So that's what we do through the sale of our hats. Yeah, thanks, man.
So good, so good. Yeah, tell us like what kind of numbers are you looking at here? I know it's been every time I look at the site, things are getting better. There's more selection, there's more artists involved. Like I know, and this is like still your side gig. How much, you know, tell us some stats around how much you've kind of raised or contributed to counseling and therapy and that kind of stuff, or just roughly or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. No, to date we've sponsored roughly 4,500 counseling sessions since we started WIRTH. And yeah, I've sold, you know, we actually just released earlier this month, we kind of added up all the countries we've shipped to. And I think the list there's about 24 different countries. We put a blog post up that we've shipped to throughout the world now. And it's been a pretty amazing journey. It's been, you know, we've been steadily growing and just connecting with more and more people throughout the country and throughout the world. And our goal is, you know, really is and I truly believe everyone should have a counselor. Everyone from a young age, even whether we want to call it counseling or something else, everyone should have that safe space where they can go and talk to and to not feel so alone in what we deal with. And I do believe that we make life a lot harder for ourselves than we need to. And that's largely because we don't have those safe spaces to talk to. And we a lot of times deal with the things in life alone.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What was your experience? I mean, when Jakob passed, at that time, had you seen a counselor? Where was like mental health for you in your life before that? Like, it sounds like it was a very big surprise for you.
Yeah, it was a very big surprise. I've had my own, you know, I'm not immune to, you know, I have my own mental health journey as well. Like, it was a huge surprise. Like, having a good friend take their life is something that's, you know, you never even really imagine it. Like, up at that point, I couldn't imagine it, even though I've had my own struggles and I've at times my life felt, you know, through university very alone in different things I'm dealing with. But, you know, up until that point, it was just shocking. And so I went and saw a counselor for the first time before Philipp's death. It was when I came back to Vancouver. So 2017 was the first 2016 was the first time I saw a counselor, kind of in the summer of 2016. And that was a result of a good friend of mine opening up about him seeing a counselor. It really was. Like, I was like someone I respected and looked up to. And I was just chatting with him the other day, and, you know, we've been friends for a long time, and he just opened it. He's like, man, I go to a counselor. It's great. And I've been going to him for about, you know, at that time, like 5 years. And it was him who kind of just, his leadership and role modeling that behavior that, you know, it's like, oh, I would actually love to do that. There's some things I'd love to work through. And then, but it's also, I think what's so important is like finding that right fit. So, and since that time too, it's like that person was good. It helped, but I've also gone on to find, to connect with a variety of other different counselors at different points, depending on what I'm going through. Like, I think too, and finding that right fit. It's been tremendously valuable for me in my own life, in my own mental health journey.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And tell us about like you've paid 4,500 counseling sessions. Like that's a huge number. Like what kind of feedback have you gotten from the WIRTH community, from customers, from people who like what's keeping you going? Like tell us some stories, even if it's just, themes or
Yeah, what's keeping me going? Well, we get lots of messages from people just saying, sharing how, the impact that it's had on them, and how appreciative they are, and especially during, to this last year and a bit through COVID. We actually were pretty overwhelmed at the start of COVID with the amount, we weren't ready for it. The amount of like people that were trying to get support through us, and it was, honestly like 1,000% increase in the demand
wow.
for counseling, and we've gotten lots of messages since then too of like how, how it saves, their ability to access counseling, how it saved their life, and how it got them through an incredibly difficult time, and so we've received all sorts of amazing messages that are give us fuel to keep going and push forward, and I just too I think of like the space we work and do this in, and it's like it's so rewarding, honestly. Like it's I just saw a message,
nice
from,
message
from Elise. Yeah. Thanks, Elise. Yeah, great to hear from you. Yeah, it's you really like you're able to have impacts on people's lives. Like I know for myself, I wouldn't be the same if I wasn't able to access counseling even that's for my own journey. Like, and or have a safe space, and then it from there it kind of it just radiates, because the moment then you're like, once you're able to feel comfortable talking to even your friends about it, or like, yeah, I went to a counselor, and then it leads to these other great conversations. Oh, what it's just like it kind of it seeps into the rest of your areas of your life if you're open to kind of just like, oh, at least even just sharing that you've gone to a counselor. It's like, oh, how's that? Like, yeah, I've been dealing with this. Like I have a close group of friends, and there's really nothing off the table. Like there's nothing I can't chat about them with, and part of that, and they've all of them have gone and seen, found counselor, have chatted to help them get through certain periods of their life, and it's it's interesting. So two, I find one little quick story. It's like my buddy Aaron, who I was saying, who first inspired me to go see a counselor. He was telling me, he was telling me how it was beneficial for him. But it was interesting. We had the conversation. He's like, man, I'm so open about so many things in my life. Like, he's like, I'm going here. But when it comes to the counseling, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to go to I'm going to go to lunch. Like, you're like, he's like, it's so silly. And sometimes like there is still a bit of that stigma there. But it's, and I feel like for the most part, I don't have that because I'm so in it. Oh, beautiful car alarm. There's literally someone in the car with the car alarm going off. Maybe let's see. I'm going to roll up my window.
Yeah.
There's actually someone in the car. It's going on. I don't know.
Hopefully they'll figure it out.
I can only imagine they're trying to fix it. Let me do. But it's just interesting how, like, I hope we can get to a point where we can.
I think I might have lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
Oh, got it back. Yeah.
Yeah. So my hope is too that we treat, oh, I'm going to go chat with my counselor, my therapist, do the same as we would, I got to head to a physio appointment, So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, like you've had a ton of conversations personally, I'm sure, with men and guys on this topic. Like, what have you learned about the fear? Like I'm sure you've seen people transition from being closed to more open about therapy and counseling. Do you have any aggregate learnings around like what it is? It just being a man and going to talk to someone about stuff, or is it?
Yeah, like specifically around saying like around men, and is it harder and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like maybe a better question is like, what's the best way to break stigma? Is it just by sharing personal stories? Like, have you?
yeah, I think so. It's I was talking or someone on our team who's a part of Worth, and he actually we go back our I'm from Langley, which is a little more rural, and you can I don't know, I find like so he was talking to some of our some of the people we went to high school. He just ran into a few different people, and he just because he's gone to counseling and he's just been a part of Worth, and it just seems more open to talk about mental health. He would get in these he's gotten into several little conversations, and he was saying this was just a couple of weeks ago that he received messages after they texted him being like, hey man, thanks so much for that conversation, and it was really it made my week. Like it was just you were open, and I felt like I was just able to share freely, and I just for him, he was saying to me like how he's like, man, it just seemed normal, like conversation. Like I was just deeply interested in how they're doing. But I just think for men and guys, like role modeling it, like it's really, I think, and it's wise even sometimes when we were allowed to do events, like we were trying to just create a space where it's just easy to talk to. Like it's not a big deal to say like I'm struggling, like I'm fucking not doing well today, or you know what I'm feeling better, and yesterday last week it was really the shits. Like I was crying. I don't know what. Like it's not a big deal. Like it's just human, and um I think everyone's just kind of really wanting that freedom to do it. And I do think COVID has actually uh, given people space to talk and feel safe talking about their mental health. Like I do think COVID has pushed mental health into a different sphere where it gave people something they can all relate on.
Mhm, mhm.
They can say like, oh yeah, I haven't been really doing good. It's really hard, or whatever they want to share. But I do think it's really helped in that situation because everyone can relate. Like, so I feel like we've taken as a society some big steps over the last year. And when we look at some of the silver linings around COVID and that, I think that is one of the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that too. I've seen that too. It's definitely a collective. I mean, people are calling it kind of a collective trauma, right? And that's from therapists that I've interviewed. And just, yeah, I mean, it's easy to look around all the time and look at someone who is, who's doing worse than you are. And I think that's particularly common for men in particular, where it's like, even if you are struggling, you have a tendency to look at someone else or even if you don't know them, if they're in a different country, if they're on the street, and say that, oh, this person's struggling more than I am, I'm fine. And that doesn't actually solve the issue or the problem. And I think that's
Yeah.
what I've learned a lot in the last couple of years too. And I think just that COVID being this collective experience for people, it's hit us all in different ways, emotionally, financially. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, or whether you're single or you're not single, like it's caused a whole bunch of stuff to go out of whack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And um, I want to applaud, for all the work that you're doing, man, and First Session is doing. It is allowing and people a gateway into the counseling world, and it really is, you know, allowing people to try and find that fit, you know, who's a counselor that feels good to them, and who's that counselor that they can build a relationship with and be in their corner. So yeah, I applaud you for everything that you've done, and you know, the conversations we've had have just been great conversations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well, I feel like we're just getting started over here, and we're just making it easier for people to take that step once they're ready,
Yeah.
and to show them that it's not that hard, and they can easily get in touch with someone, and they can pre-screen them like if they're on a advanced dating website.
Exactly. That's awesome.
So,
It's needed. And I just quickly, before you ask, I just want to thank someone made a comment, Declan, who just picked up a hat the other day, and I got to meet him briefly, and so I just want to say thanks for he gave a hat to his friend for his birthday.
well, I can't wait to spread more hats in Toronto area and Ontario over here and everywhere. For like second last question is like, what's the future entail for Worth? Where are you headed next? Where's the company headed next?
Yeah, really excited for the month ahead. Like, just seeing what we're filming there. Like, we have a lot of cool things coming up. So yeah, we're and that's just in the short term, really. Like, we have on April 30th, we're launching. I think we have 6 new hats coming out, and then on May 1st, we're releasing a PSA video for Mental Health Month, and then we have 2 artist campaigns we're running through May, and then we did a series of kind of counseling, kind of around breaking down the stigma around counseling, with those videos being released. Yeah, we just got a lot of stuff in May, and it's a variety of different partnerships. We partnered with a YouTuber in the UK called Aspie World, and yeah, so that's kind of in the short term right there. And I think, you know, we'll just continue, like you said. I don't know, we're just getting started. Like, it's amazing to be in the space. It's hard at times, and you know, it can, you gotta be careful it doesn't consume you at times, and just taking, you know, always talking about mental health and other things. Like, you know, you got to be able to make sure you're doing the things that keep you balanced and keep you feeling good and healthy. But it's an amazing area to work in, and it's incredibly rewarding.
Amazing. So, where can people find Worth Hats? How can people buy a hat? It's free shipping until the April 30th.
Yeah, it
or
is free.
free
So
shipping
yeah,
until Sunday.
no, not free shipping until Sunday midnight. Yeah, we released again, what I was saying earlier, we released a blog piece called Where Worth Hats Live, and it was showing all the countries that we've shipped to, and so we kind of decided to do kind of a free shipping. You know, we try our best, if people want a Worth hat, not to have cost be a barrier. So, you know, if we can help in some way. So we have free shipping till Sunday, and
even to Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas has free shipping until Sunday.
Austin, Texas does have free shipping till Sunday. It's true, and all Austin, Texas neighbors. Yeah.
But worthhats.com.
Worthhats.com. Instagram, obviously here at Worth Hats, and but worthhats.com is the place to go.
Love it. I love it. Well, I definitely hope to do more work with your team in the future, and yeah, can't wait to keep chatting with you. Great work that you're doing, Ben.
Thanks so much, Robbie. I really appreciate you having me on, and happy Friday and happy weekend.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.